Everyone. Oh, sorry. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Enos Harris, and I am the hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. With me today is Mary Bell Hanson, who is serving as the clerk of this hearing. This hearing is being conducted virtually via Zoom and is being recorded. A link to the recording will be made available afterwards through a link on the San Francisco Public Works website, sfpublicworks.org. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet. If you would like to receive notification of the results of this hearing, please send an email to the address listed on the hearing notice. This public hearing is being held to consider three items. Order number 211867 to consider a request from Sean Sparing with the McMillan Jacobs Associates on behalf of the City of Daly City for a major encroachment permit for the construction of four 6-foot by 6-foot precast concrete box culvert crossing under John Muir Drive. Force main and overflow structure all encroaching along John Muir Drive, fronting the subject property. Order number 211896 to consider a request from Bridge Potrero Community Associates, LLC, for a major encroachment permit to construct and maintain encroachments in the public right-of-way. Hearing number 211900 to consider approval of a major encroachment permit for EQX Jackson SQ Holdco LLC to construct and maintain encroachments in the Merchant Street public right-of-way, generally included but not limited to decorative roadway and sidewalk paving, tabletop crosswalks, overhead structure lighting, various pedestrian and bike-oriented improvements. My job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendation to the director. The director will make the final decisions. Once the director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them if you have provided contact information. The hearing will proceed as follows for the three cases. Public Works staff will present the case first. There is no time limit for this presentation. Then I will allow the property owner, appellant, or applicant to speak, followed by any members of the public or witness who wish to speak. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers and will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds left. If you are a party to this hearing, I will call on you directly. If you plan to use visual materials, please let me know before you begin speaking. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. If you are a member of the public or witness who wants to speak, wait for me to call for public comments. If you are using a computer, please use Zoom's raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. If you joined by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. When it is your turn to speak, I will recognize you. You will press *6 to unmute yourself. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let me know before you speak. You will have the standard 3 minutes. Please remember, comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to staff or the applicants. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you are welcome to submit them in writing to me by the end of this hearing. If I feel a question is warranted, I will ask the questions. After all comments are completed, I will close the item. We will now begin the hearing. I'll open this hearing for general comment on matters within the department's jurisdiction but are not on the agenda today. Are there any public comments at this time? Okay. If there are no comments, I will close this item. This item is now closed. The first item on today's agenda is order number 211867. May I have Public Works make its presentation?
Is that me or is that somebody from Public Works speaking before me?
It should be so.
That would be Eric Lamb.
Okay.
Hi, Eric. If you are speaking, we do not hear you. And I do want to confirm you are unmuted on our side.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you for that, Miranda. Okay. So today we're going over major encroachment permit number 21 ME-00015. This is going to be for the Vista Grande drainage basin improvements. Here we have the project site. It's going to be along John Muir Drive at the intersection of Lake Merced Boulevard and heading northwest. The proposal for major encroachment is for drainage reasons coming from the city of Daly City and heading into San Francisco, as we see with the county line, with drainage structures previously mentioned. I'll have a table after this for the items. But the main structure that the major encroachment is going to include will be the box invert heading from the south. We're looking at the picture here on the south side, hanging to the north side, draining into the impound lake. Bring up the closer picture here. So this is more of like a plan view of the drawing itself. In the red box, drainage structure that's going to be going under John Muir Drive and outlet to the top of the picture here. As mentioned, these will be the items of the material and maintenance schedule. The 4 6x6 reinforced concrete box culvert for drainage, as well with other items, force main, conduits, piping, HDPE, and final restoration for the asphalt paving and with services. And as a procedure, there was a hearing, public notification, 300 feet, and this for major encroachment is usually more. It goes to 300 feet public for the notification, as well with a public hearing notice that was provided for notification, public notification. As with procedure, notification process has happened. We're going through public hearing process, and dependent on the direction of a hearing officer, in recommendation, if to move forward, the encroachment permit and maintenance agreement will be finalized with the city attorney office for finalization of this major encouragement permit. And that is the end of the presentation. And I will pass it on to Sean for additional project information. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. Thank you, Eric. I'm going to share my screen and let's see if this works. Share. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. So Eric gave kind of a general overview of the project. I'm going to quickly go over very quickly the project needs and the overview of the project, and then I'll focus in on what's within the major encroachment permit. So outlined in yellow is the Vista Grande drainage basin. Within this area, it's about 2.5 square miles, mostly in Daly City. A small portion of it is within San Francisco. All the rain that falls within this basin is collected within storm drainage systems and makes its way to the existing Vista Grande canal and tunnel, which you see here in red. Basically, the canal parallels John Muir Drive and flows generally northward in the existing canal, and then it goes through a tunnel underneath the Olympic Club and Fort Funston to be discharged on the beach. The canal and the tunnel were built in 1896 to convey stormwater flows. Since that time, a lot of the drainage area has been paved over and it's hardscape now. And the flows that we see nowadays quickly outpace the capacity of the system. So what we see is flooding. The tunnel begins to back up first, and then the canal begins to back up. We see flooding within the low-lying areas of Daly City. And eventually it does overflow John Muir Drive, and we get uncontrolled flows into Lake Merced, and that damages John Muir Drive and the banks of the lake. So this project has been in the works for a very, very long time. And with Daly City, as well as SFPUC, who is a partner agency with us on this. The project does two things. It increases the capacity of the stormwater conveyance system. And we're also including a diversion structure so that we can put water back into Lake Merced. We're basically restoring the original drainage basin for Lake Merced. And very quickly, all of the components of the project, we are replacing about 1,000 feet of the existing canal with an underground culvert. We have a diversion structure with a series of gates and weirs so that we can either allow stormwater to continue on down the canal and into the tunnel, or we can divert water into Lake Merced through some box culverts. We also have some treatment wetlands, 2 cells. One cell is going to be constructed above the box culvert, the culverts that we're creating, and another cell is in some flat areas above to the north of the diversion structure. There's an existing overflow so that lake water, if it rises too high, can flow into the tunnel and out to the ocean. We're going to be rehabilitating a portion of that overflow system, and we're going to be reconstructing the existing tunnel to increase its capacity. Okay, so the majority of this project is within lands owned either by San Francisco and or the Olympic Club golf course. And within those, the vast majority of the project is within land that is managed by SFPUC. Small portions of the project do fall within the John Muir Drive right-of-way, and those are what we're discussing here for this major encroachment permit. So I'm only talking about portions of the project that fall within the John Muir Drive right-of-way. And just curious, can you see my cursor as I move it around? You can. Okay. Good.
Yes.
Good. So what falls within the John Muir Drive right-of-way? We have the new culverts that go from the diversion structure and will discharge water into Impound Lake. We also have for the wetlands that I talked about. This is a force main that can actually draw water from Lake Merced and feed the wetlands for times when there's not enough water coming off of the Vista Grande Basin in order to maintain the wetlands. So we do have this force main that travels along John Muir Drive underground, and then it kind of crosses over at the box culverts. Not really shown here, but there's an existing treated effluent line from Daly City's wastewater treatment plant. It's an existing line that basically parallels John Muir Drive. The majority of it is not within John Muir Drive right away, but some portions are. We're going to be rehabilitating that line. We're going to be demolishing portions and relocating some portions and rehabilitating other portions. So this is kind of a close-up. We have the box culverts underneath John Muir Drive. What you see here is the force main that's also within John Muir Drive. And again, a continuation of that force main. And again, we're only looking at the portions of the force main that are within the John Muir Drive right away, but the remainder of it does continue on into the lake. We also have a couple, some driveways that go from John Muir Drive into the wetland area and the diversion structure area. There are some other kind of smaller appurtenant facilities that are within the John Muir Drive right of way. There's some water service lines, and again, these are the driveways. This is just a plan and profile of the box culverts that go underneath John Muir Drive. And here is a plan and profile of the force main that is within John Muir Drive. I realize it's hard to see what's going on here, but this is the demolition plan. I mentioned that some portions of the existing effluent line fall within the John Muir Drive right away. So I've outlined just those small areas. They're just barely within the right of way. And these portions of the pipeline are being demolished and relocated slightly. Actually, these portions are being relocated outside of the John Muir Drive right away. And then what you see in blue here are the portions of the treated effluent line that are going to be within the John Muir Drive right of way, and it basically parallels the edge. It's just barely within the right of way, not actually within the street. And here again, portions of the effluent line that are within the John Muir Drive right of way. And then I wanted to end up, I didn't include the existing Lake Merced overflow within the package because it's existing and we're not actually doing any work on the Lake Merced overflow. But there were some late questions about it, so I included it here. Just to reiterate that the portion of the overflow that goes underneath John Muir Drive right away is existing. It was built, I believe, in the 30s or so. It's a brick line tunnel that goes underneath the John Muir Drive right of way. We are going to be rehabilitating portions of that line outside of the right of way, but within the right of way, we're not actually touching that system. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Sean. I do have one. How will the driveways that you mentioned be affected by this?
Be affected by the encroachment permit?
Yes, assuming
Um,
that it goes forward.
Yeah, these are new driveways, off of John Muir Drive.
Okay. So would they be affected by the construction of the major encroachment?
They are part of the new construction.
They're part of it. Okay. So
Yes,
there's no effect on
so-
them. Okay.
Yeah, and this, John Muir Drive in this area is kind of unique. On this side of John Muir Drive, where the driveways are, there's no sidewalk. It's kind of just, it goes from curb into this undeveloped land.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Are there any members of the public or any witnesses who would like to speak on this matter?
We have Mr. Nazui from Public Utilities Commission. Would you like them to speak?
Yes,
Officer Harris, okay.
yes.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
You
Great.
have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Obi Nzewi. I'm the project manager at the PUC that has been working with Daly City on this project for the last 13 years. PUC is very supportive of this project. This will, as Sean said, address some significant issues that we've been dealing with jointly with regards to flooding in that area. It will also help the PUC in two major areas. We have been having issues maintaining levels in Lake Merced. As Sean noted, due to redevelopment, a lot of that runoff just goes into a combined sewer, so we don't have the recharge to the lake that we historically used to. This project really helps us address that. In a very holistic way, we deal with the stormwater that is potentially causing issues and allows us to recharge and increase the lake levels. The other thing it lets us do is that the lake is connected to the underlying groundwater basin in the Westside Basin in the San Francisco area. Adding water to the lake lets us also manage that groundwater basin. One of the things that we've been doing as one of our projects is developing groundwater as a source of drinking water for the city. Having this addition to the lake also helps us buffer the basin so that we can effectively operate the groundwater project. So we are very supportive of this project, and we will be contributing to the project and hoping that we can finally get this thing built after over a decade of planning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have any other comments? Okay. Then I will close this matter. This matter is now closed. Okay, so now we'll begin order number 211896. May I have Public Works make its presentation?
Morning, Hearing Officer Harris. John
Good
Kwong
morning.
from John Kwong from Public Works. Go ahead and start sharing some of this stuff. Give me a second. Public Works has received a request from Bridge Patrol Community Associations, the Master Development for Patrol Hope, for a global master encroachment permit. The reason for this is I'll give you some background history on it. Back in 2017, the city entered into a development agreement with the developer Bridge Patrol Community Association to develop the Patrol Hope area to construct affordable housing and other elements. As part of this, during the review of the design of the new roadways and other infrastructure, Public Works has identified a list of non-standard features that will be maintained by the developer. These elements would include pavers and cobbles in the street furnishing zone. There will be a variety of benches. There are landscaping islands, irrigation lines and facilities from the building to, irrigate the landscaping that's going to be installed. There are storm drain laterals that will be installed. There are temporary walkways, stairways, and associated ramps to connect existing buildings with the newly constructed streets unto such point that the existing buildings are demolished and replaced with new buildings for this development. There may be temporary wooden walls to be installed in the future as the part of overall development. And there will be an installation of the Texas Street Gardens. What I am showing currently is the overall area of the Potrero Hope development site, which is bounded by 25th Street, 26th Street, Texas, Wisconsin, typically bounded in that area. For currently, phase 1 and phase 2 of Potrero Hope has either been completed or nearly complete, that we will be going to the board at some point this year to request that the board then accept those improvements in the streets that will be maintained by the city and associated agencies. Skip a second. Let me see where to stop sharing.
Thank you, Warner.
Share another document.
Yeah, head this way. I know they're all on this.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
This is another picture of the Potrero Hope development area, where the area highlighted in pink is the area that has already been constructed. And the area in blue are future phases of construction. And this request is to authorize is for the director to request the board to authorize early approval of future improvements. That's going to be non-standard as described previously, and then based upon this board approval, the director can then incorporate those future phases incrementally and annex it as part of the overall encroachment permit. We have members of the development team in the audience that if they wish to speak, but we are the proposed encroachments as identified by this permit has been reviewed by staff and has been deemed to be in a technically that meets engineering requirements, because obviously we don't maintain it, but we would deem it to be safe to the public. And we are requesting that the hearing officer provide a recommendation to affirm staff's request to approve this encroachment permit and move it to the Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, John. Is there, would the appellant or applicant representative like to speak?
I see no hands raised, Officer Harris.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I take that back. Mr. Agualdo. One moment, please. Okay, you have 3 minutes to speak, sir.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adrian Aguinaldo. I am with Bridge Housing, the project manager for this Potrero Hope SF infrastructure project, along with the vertical development at the Hope SF Potrero Hill site. I just wanted to say thank you for your consideration today, and thank you, John Kwong, for your presentation. I'm open to answering any questions as necessary.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Aguinaldo. Did I say that right?
Aguinaldo, close
I can't
enough.
say the other half, Aguinaldo. Okay. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak? Okay, well then I will, if there are no members of the public who would like to speak, I will close this item. This item is now closed. So we'll move on to the last hearing, and that's hearing order.
It has nothing to do with our president. It was something.
Oh, okay, there we go. Our last hearing order number 211900. May I have Public Works present?
Good morning, hearing officer Harris.
Good
John Kwong
morning.
from Public Works once again. In this case, Public Works has received a request from EQX Jackson Square Holding Company, the developer for 530 Sampson Street, for a major encroachment permit. The history behind it is this developer has been working with the city to acquire the parcel at the parcel mounted by Washington, Sampson and Merchant Street, which is the current firehouse at that location, as part of an overall development that they are proposing to purchase all of that, construct a new fire station in approximately the same location, and provide a variety of amenities and improvements to the streets, and specifically non-standard elements along Merchant Street, to include raised crosswalks, special pavers, special pavings on Merchant Street, the relocation, in essence, the removal, reinstallation of new street trees to match, any widened sidewalks and these kind of situations, along with stringing some lighting on Merchant Street as part of this development. As part of this overall request, they will be asking, for street tree removals and replacements in these kind of cases. And they will be asking that instead of going through the normal process of having the street tree removal, that be combined with this major encroachment permit to be heard all at once at the Board of Supervisors. The city believes that this is a benefit to the city in that we get a new fire station with this development, because they'll be taking the old fire station and constructing a new one for us. And that they will be taking over the maintenance and liability of all the associated new improvements on Merchant Street that are non-standard. And then the development team will be maintaining it and taking that maintenance responsibility away from Public Works. Overall, this will be most likely become another agreement between the city and the developer, Jackson Square Holding Company, for this development, and it will most likely also be part of companion legislation to set up and ensure that the entitlements as well as the obligations are going to be met, and that will usually go through the board or the planning commission. This is obviously in preliminary design, and that we are asking the board to authorize and delegate the Director of Public Works to final, based upon this preliminary design to evaluate and approve the final design so they can be constructed. And I believe those are the major elements associated with it. Staff along with other city agencies have reviewed this preliminarily and has determined that it can be technically feasible, and we are recommending to the hearing officer that, you will provide a positive affirmation to this and ask the Director of Public Works to approve and move this legislation forward to the board for their approval.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is the applicant or appellant here to speak? Any representatives from this project? Okay. Is there any member of the public who would like to make comments? Okay, so if there are no comment, oh, go ahead. Is
Oh,
there-
no, I was just wanted to confirm that there were no hands raised, Officer.
Okay,
Harris.
perfect. So then I will close this matter. This item is now closed. So are there any public comments on any items on the agenda? These are people who came late and were not allowed to speak. Okay, so if there are no more public comments, I am closing this hearing. This hearing is now closed. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Okay.
I will now stop recording.